This is 89 Emergency Cold Weather Survival Tricks and More. This is Joseph here again. That title should be international, but it's not. But this is international. This is throughout history, throughout the world. Okay. I'm going to go to the table of contents here real quick and show you what you're getting. Okay. We have American Civil War, Art of Suffering, American Civil War dirt bed. Okay. Learn a couple of tricks to keep you warm there. Apache hypothermia first aid, the art of suffering, more art of suffering, and here's my own mind over matter application, author's own mind over matter application to ignore cold weather. This is what I do. I tell you everything and why it works. Okay. Bear grease insulator, Bergman's hunting rule, blizzard protector, blizzard shelter, break in the ice, buffalo blizzard fighter, buried alive group 4 Falk survival trick. Buried Alive, Group 4 Falk survival trick. I believe they're the parent company of Whacknut, and Group 4 Falk stands for Falcon in Danish, and they got a neat survival trick to keep the cold weather casualty alive while they're waiting for more help, while they're waiting for the medevac helicopter to get there. And then you got clandestine fire, cocoa cocoa relief, cold water cures, cold water diving reflex are still alive. I'll tell you a true story there. Some kid went in the cold water, was in there for 40-some minutes, and came out. And he went to the hospital, and they 100% full recovery. Okay. Colorado's 5 unknown killers. If you know Colorado, most of their weather is cold, more than half, about 60% of the year. Snow blindness remedy, countering killer hypothermia, Crow Indian anti-hypothermia. And I brought that up because the mountain men were trying to figure out how, and they're badass mountain men in themselves, they were trying to figure out how these Crow Indians kept warm, and they were hunting buffalo in the dead of winter. So I'll tell you that story. Deer insulation, emergency fire starting, emergency insulation, ERR anti-hypothermia, ERR insulating bedroll. ERR stands for Eric Robert Rudolph. He did some bombings down back in the Georgia Olympic Games, and he went on the run. He was on the run in the Nantahala National Forest in North Carolina for approximately 5 years. 5 years, and in my humble opinion, he's a survival expert in his own right. And there's a couple of his cold weather survival tricks I'll tell you about. And we got fighting, blasting cold. And we got the Fremont expedition, Fremont Conifer shelter, frigid cold weather fighting ingredient, frostbite remedy, frozen cat literally, and Gottlieb frostbite remedy, Gottlieb frostbite and hypothermia preventative, haystack self-heating. And then we got the ice support measurements. You got to know those. You start messing around with that ice on lakes and ponds, whatever. And then we got the 9 Otzi survival tricks. Otzi, if you remember, a man and woman found Otzi, the remains of Otzi, and to make a long story short, after they did the intensive research, intensive study of his body, of his remains, this prehistoric man, these are several of his survival tricks, and there's 9 of them there. Okay, so you got to know those. And you got POW, blinding snow escape, Siberian cold weather hard operation. Okay, sissy Eskimos, and I brought that up because you take that survival expert, in this case an Eskimo, take him out of his environment. He's not an expert anymore. He's out of his environment. So bottom line is, whatever your environment is, wherever you go camp and hunt and hike and wherever live, be an expert in your particular environment. Okay. Washakie Indian frostbite remedy, whiteout beacons, Wiggy sleeping bag. I brought Wiggy sleeping bags in there. I put that in there because you gotta know about Wiggies. Go ahead and look it up on the internet after you watch this video. Wiggy puts out a lot of sleeping bags, a lot of good stuff, but they put out one particular sleeping bag. It's one sleeping bag within another, and it's rated down to 80 below zero. Polar bears are good for about 50 below zero, and then they're smart. They get in that, they make their shelter, and they hunker down. But this sleeping bag is good down to 80 below zero, so you got to know about that. Let me see, Buffalo Bill countering hypothermia, and hot gear, hotter gear, and hot gear is a military term for clothes that'll keep you warm. Okay, that's the table of contents. That's 89 emergency cold weather survival tricks, and I'll see you in the next video.